Good afternoon, everyone. With the right investment, why would you remove carbon dioxide when you could build something that takes a factory instead of using a natural tree? It's so 2021. Argentina suspends all corn exports out of the country. At the same time, Turkey stops all import tariffs. Russia unveiling the first derivatives wheat delivery futures. Ag markets up 21% in 2020. China importing the most food since 1996, and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange launching the California Water Index futures. You can see 2021 is going to be the year of food and water price increases. As Americans seek economic protection after the most controversial election in U.S. history, year to date in 2020 alone, gold is up 30% and silver rising more than 50%. And now we're entering a new year facing economic realities of a global economic crisis caused by COVID and political reactions. Patriot Gold Group has the No Fee for Life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or physical silver. And the knowledge that Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs top-rated gold IRA dealer 5 years in a row from 2016 to present. To find more information, the link's in the description box below. And now on with the video. And so far, the winner of the most absurd story for 2021 is how do we solve problems like climate change with innovations like mechanical trees? We don't need real trees, the ones that you plant in the ground that cost nothing. Nope, we need to use factories to produce these things that burn fuels, need mining, need delivery systems, all to put a mechanical tree in by a corporation to do the same exact thing that a natural tree does. Now, why would we even consider putting a natural tree in? Plant a tree, love our earth, do what a mechanical tree can do for free, and grow some of your own fruit so you can share with your neighbors. Argentina suspending corn exports. This was a shocker for me, and a validation that we are going into a food insecure planet in 2021, only to amplify in 22 and 23. Argentina, massive South American producer, soy, corn, has now stated that they need at least 4.27 million tons to remain in for domestic consumption. Just like you were only going to be wearing the covering for a few weeks to help out. It was a temporary measure, just like this will be a temporary measure until, well, they can't grow as much next year either, and they need to continue the temporary measure. Excuse given was, ensure the supply of the grain for sectors that use it, such as animal protein for pork, chicken, eggs, milk, and cattle. Okay, we call that animal feed, and that's good. They actually understand the conundrum they're in, and they're willing to take a hit because the animals need to eat first. And then I read this, Argentine government struggling to control food price inflation, and they want to help low-income families, so they want to save the corn. Okay, but in the previous paragraph, you said it was for pigs, chickens, and cows. So the animal feed is now for the low-income families? Thanks very much. Maybe you should save a few other million tons of the high-quality export grains for your people. Because hungry people are angry people. See, Argentina's learning from history. Millions of hungry, angry people are way different than 109,000 agricultural producers who are angry that weren't consulted first before this full-on ban of sales export-wise to the rest of the world. 109,000 versus a few million, yeah. You can see where the government priorities are on this, not being replaced. Now, jumping over to Europe, a nice, interesting fact. See the black line? That's the exports for this year, straight off a cliff. Why do you think that is? Well, there's two possibilities. First one is, there are not any buyers out there for European soft wheat. Second, the countries that were producing soft wheat had such atrocious yields that they needed to keep anything they grew inside the EU, and they're not exporting it. What is that, a 63% decline from last year? I'll let you make the decision of which you think it is. And jumping over to agricultural markets, up 21% in 2020. So wait a second, all these exporters who are going to make money by exporting the food didn't export it because... I'll bring you back to choice 2. And looking at China as well, the import pace of Chinese foodstuffs, if you will, to feed the people, they lost so much grain and so much food production during these massive floods in 2020, biggest in 400 to 800 years, depending on how you want to calculate that. Plus the amount of stored food was lost because in the flood zones where the warehouses were, and they're going to be importing the most since 1995 and 96, which, by the way, was at the apex of the imports before they really kicked in their agricultural sector for all those making money that could afford more protein-based diets. Nearly 30 years has elapsed since they had this massive food need. Something significant there as well. And we jump off over to Turkey. Currency reset, complete evaporation of the economy, fiat fiasco, and one of the only ways they had to generate money for the government was food tax imports. It comes down to it again. They're going to drop all grain import tariffs to 0. So that tells me one of two things. Citizens were going to be incredibly angry about food price increases well above 20%, and that would have caused change in the government structure. Or B, they've collapsed in production as well, or a combination of both. Because when you're going to drop your import revenue source for government expenditures, and you're just going to let that go to 0, wheat, barley, and corn, there's a huge problem. Will the truth be known? Perhaps. And in the same vein, Russia unveils its first wheat delivery futures. First time ever. Russia suddenly starts the Moscow exchange derivatives market. And if you look at the contract volumes there, each contract is a 25-ton contract. Deliverable at the Voronezh region silos. But then at the same time, the CME Group, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, launching NASDAQ Velez Water Index of California futures market. And remember, this index contract size is 1 acre foot of water. So you have a full acre, which is 42,000 square plus feet at 1 foot deep. And then how many gallons that is in an equivalent as a 1 square acre foot. Colorado Basin feeding into agriculture and cattle ranching, California, Western United States. There's no way that the water price could be manipulated when this thing starts. Your food price is going to stay the same. Don't worry about it. Back to sleep. Thank you very much for watching. But any of you who do see changes, food prices up. So you may want to think about long-term storable foods, 2-week or the 4-week emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030. The link's in the description box below. It's a great way to support the channel. Thank you for all your support. And I hope this video helped you, well, see there's some changes that aren't being reported in the wider mainstream media. And I'll see you next time.